6 people are severely wounded. But they never tell you the casualties of the wounded, because these are the types of people. We are dealing with a government, a parliament of absolute liars. These young men are supposed to be crippled, because that keeps your mind on Afghanistan and not what's actually happening in the country. Well, there he is. I believe we're very close to home for Mr. Cameron. This is a publicity stunt to make Mr. Cameron look like a rough and tough Royal Marine. Have you seen the posters with him looking rugged? Mao Zedong, Lenin. But this man is a puppet. We've described him as a Cabbage Patch doll because he looks like a Cabbage Patch doll. And if you follow his policy, he is following all of the Labour policy. And why? Because the same bodies are advising him, Demos being a key one, the Young Foundation. If you do your research, you will find this man is not forming policy, it's being given to him by the people I am about to expose. World government. David Icke's talking about it. There are other speakers warning that something is being created we haven't given our permission for. And I'm going to link the two because the common purpose is world government. We have documents which will be released onto these video talks where the government at one stage was saying, what's the best route, the United Nations or the Commonwealth? Did you vote for a world government? Did you have a referendum? If you don't know what the Trilateral Commission is, you need to know. But what's happening is we're being formed into 3 power blocks. And this one is the one that's causing us the problem. Europe, as a power block, is to contain Africa and the Soviet Union. That is a fact and it's provable. Well, here they are. Both of them liars. And look at their language. You've shared your story, you've shared with me your stories, the stories people have shared with me. A politics of common purpose, our common purpose. This isn't accidental. These people are sharing the same ideological view, the same political agenda. There's something quite creepy about this at the moment. But we're not seeing anything about America, although in America the Tea Parties, if you've heard of that, is the American equivalent of lawful rebellion. But they started first. Now this is a nice bunch of men. Do you recognise any? This one is not Obama. This is Hitler. But the point of this is that it only took a handful of people to take control of Germany and form the Nazi Party with all that followed. It wasn't thousands of the people making the decisions at the top. It was a little nasty band. And those people, that mentality has not gone away. Here's Mr. Balls. He's in charge of our children at the moment, families and schools. And he's a member of the Bilderberg Group. Here's a letter where he's admitting it. And the Bilderberg Group was formed shortly after the Second World War. Prince Bernhard of the Netherlands was the first chairman, and he was a Nazi. This organisation doesn't keep minutes that it makes available to the public, but every year they're meeting and making decisions which affect this country and the world. And he even told Porky Pies, because he charged his allowances for travelling there to the state, even though the Bilderbergers say all our people attend as private individuals. So somebody's lying. Is this the man you want in charge of your children? Because he is at the moment. So here we've got something interesting. The Communist Manifesto, the abolition of private property. Do you realise that all of the council housing is now being pushed across into the hands of private companies? It's happening in every city across UK. usually with propaganda and lies so that people don't understand what the housing trust is. The abolition of the family, well, that's well underway. That's why social services are stealing children, pitting husband against wife, partners, the sex war. When was there ever a sex war? That's a nice little term to get us uptight. Women, can they stay in love when they earn more than the man? That's the propaganda. That's working on your psyche because they're going to break the families up. The abolition of countries and nationalities. That's happening. The abolition of all religion. Well, some of you may be spiritual, some of you may be religious, but the thing you can see at the moment is an attack. If I was to talk about Jesus Christ, I'm branded now a loony. Those wicked Christians. And what's interesting is if you go and speak to the Muslims know about the spiritual attack on them as well. And that's because the people manipulating the puppet strings are not spiritual in the way we would want to be spiritual. They're quite nasty people. In the Communist International in 1928, there were some very key objectives set to bring about regional union between socialist nations. Do you know that America is being broken up into regions? This country is. It's nearly there. To level the economies of all nations by introducing a single world currency. Well, we formed the euro, and we are now seeing major upheaval in the international money markets, and that is to force the movement towards this world currency. And ultimately, the regions are going to be forced into this new world order, and we're hearing politicians use the phrase. Well, they're not using it for fun, they mean what they say. Here they are. A few. You can go through New Labour and you pick out all the ones that are communists. This man has a communist background. If I had the same communist background, I wouldn't have been allowed in the Navy. But he's now in charge of the armed forces. So how does that work? I think what this man is helping to happen is that our armed forces are being decimated. They want the injuries, they want the deaths. Why? Because while the troops are over there, we've got to have European troops coming in to help us at home. Have you seen the papers talking about merging the British and the French armed forces? Yeah, get our troops out the country, bring in the foreign troops. Classic takeover of a state. These are all communists. He was helped into power specifically by the communists in Scotland. It's obvious when you look at it. Now here's a nice lady. I've forgotten her name now. Jackie Smith, is that right? Well, we've got a wonderful organisation called Liberty. Have you all heard of Liberty? A lady called Chakrabarti is involved with that. It's cuddly, it's working for our liberty. No, it's not. If you do your research on Liberty, you will find that Harriet Harman was connected with a thing called the Lolita's Charter, which was about reducing the age of consent and argued that childhood sexual experiences willingly engaged in with an adult result in no identifiable damage. This was as a result of these two paedophile groups. What these people are working towards is that heterosexuality is not normal, but sex with children is normal. And in Germany, there are papers already on the internet, you can go to the TPUC site and look at them, where they are pushing to make paedophilia legal. So we got Mr. Balls, who's associated with an organisation connected with the Nazis, who were pretty keen on eugenics, and we've got other members of the Labour administration, Harriet Harman. So I think I said